have a TV?
No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. You don't need a TV. Television addict! Television addict! Television addict!
Whoa, welcome to that's it's still every year it's stupid. I try it every year and welcome. Yeah, it's dumb, so I'm not going to do it. Last year I didn't try it because we didn't have a Halloween special because we had a global pandemic that's still going on. But this year I was able to pull one together, so I apologize for ruining our 9-year streak of Halloween episodes last year, but this one's real good. Hello everyone, welcome. It's Ken Reed here from TV Guidance Counselor. You demanded it, and you got it. Returning to the show via satellite because it's a global pandemic, which really is very Halloween-y if you think about it. Lamont Price. And I'm very excited to have Lamont on the show. Lamont has his own podcast. I'll get to that in a moment. My other guest here is Walter Snicket of the Army of Broken Toys, or Army of Toys. I'm sorry, not Broken Toys, who is a first-time guest, but someone that I've performed with before and is pretty amazing. He has a daily video cast, and I bring that up because this is part 1. So we recorded all 3 of our podcasts, and if you enjoy this conversation and want to hear more of it, you can go to Walter's podcast, which I'll put links in the description, and to Lamont's podcast, which I'll put links in the description. But here is part 1. We talk about our favorite Halloween episodes. I cheat a little bit, but it's my show, so suck it up. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know if you're doing anything for Halloween, what you're watching. You can email me at kennethwreed@gmail.com, which is my real email address that I just accidentally gave out again because I'm on autopilot. I just got back from New Orleans, everybody. It was my first trip on an airplane since I got back from LA in March 2020. I'm all out of sorts. Anyway, you can email me or at ken@kenreed.com or tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com, wherever you want to do that, at Kenneth W. Reed or at TV Guidance on all those things. Thank you guys again to the patrons. I added some new tiers because you asked me to, not TEARS, TIERS. I added a $25 and a $50, I think. It went from $15 to $100 because when I first set it up, I didn't think anyone would ever give me more than $15 a month. So I think I put $100 as kind of a joke. But there's some other tiers if you guys want to jump into those. I cannot thank you guys enough, everyone who does give to the Patreon. It is why I am able to do this show for you still into this weird year. I will be doing some live shows too in December. I'll be doing some shows opening for Todd Berry in Vermont and in Woodstock, New York, unless they are canceled. But I'll give you more info on that later. Anyway, here is our 2021 Halloween special. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy Lamont Price and Walter Snicket.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
It's the season. It's Halloween, everybody. Last year we didn't do a Halloween special, but this year we're back, and we have 2 guests. One's a first-timer, and one is an all-star, a returning guest. I think this is his 6th appearance on the show, maybe 7th. First guest, Mr. Lamont Price. How are you, sir?
Hey, I still don't have one of them pens.
What, the all-star pen?
I will not be recognized as an all-star.
You'll get a trading card if I do a run of those again, but that aren't financially ruinous. And then our first timer guest, Mr. Walter Snicket. How are you?
How's it going, Ken? How's it going, Lamont? I'm ready for our Halloween special. And I'm all fucking ready.
My listeners,
sorry, can we say fuck? We can say fuck.
Well, you can now. I've never said it on the show before in 500 episodes.
I made sure you said fuck all the time because I can't not say fuck. So don't worry, I did my homework.
I told a guest once that if they swear, I go back in and I revoice the swear, doing an impression of them, and they believed me. And then I was like, maybe I should do that.
You should do that.
I think you should do that.
That was pretty exciting.
You should definitely fucking do that.
Yeah. Listen, I do a fucking kids show on the weekends, and I'm not supposed to say fuck one time. And
you're supposed to say it 10 times.
I get that right. But sometimes I say it like once or twice.
I mean, kids have heard it.
If kids know what fuck means, it's on their parents, not my fault.
Yeah, I mean...
plus, Mr. Rogers never went live, so
Well,
He
after
said
the
fuck
fuck
all the
incident,
time.
yeah, that guy
Right?
had a potty mouth like you wouldn't believe.
Absolutely. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, people, I may try to take a screenshot here just to post with the episode because people can't see the fantastic Halloween displays everyone has on. Lamont has a background of 3 jack-o'-lanterns. His head in the middle makes it, and I don't think you've done this on purpose, it looks like you are the middle jack-o'-lantern.
I didn't think about that till you just said it, and now I'm going with it because I was going to show you what really is behind me, which is
Trick or Treat. That looks like the Roseanne jack-o'-lanterns from the. There was one, where it had Roseanne's face carved on it on one of the Halloween episodes, which we'll get to in a moment. And then Walter has just it looks like the Alien's Deadly Spawn with the Shining curtain. There's a character there that looks like the ape from the Great Space Coaster mixed with.
Hey, wait a minute. Oh, hey, Ken, I'm Jimbo.
Listen, Jimbo, he didn't introduce you yet. It's rude to just jump in.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's.
going to say hi. Okay, I love Ken. I'm freaking out. Freaking out.
That's Jimbo.
I'm Jimbo. Sorry.
Jimbo's got a real Chinese dragon / Great Space Coaster ape look, which I love, and a lot of other fun things there. So,
compliment, Jimbo.
Yeah, it is a high compliment coming from me. Yeah. Speaking of Great Space Coaster, which never had a Halloween episode, although some would argue every episode was terrifying. Actually, I found out that Kevin Clash hasn't been doing Elmo's voice for like 10 years because of a controversy.
Did he get in trouble? There wasn't this some kind of...
Yeah, we're going to break it down for a second, everybody. Kevin Clash started on Great Space Coaster. He did almost all the voices, Gary Gnu, all those characters.
I didn't know that.
Which when you see it now is evident. And he's also the Fireys from Labyrinth, but was also...
Oh, shit, really?
Oh, that's all Kevin Clash, yeah.
Holy fuck.
But was also Elmo, but he was a closeted gay guy, had a wife and children, and he had been having some affairs with some guys who were in their teens, apparently, or one that was in his teen, and so he stepped down. So he hasn't been Elmo for, I had no idea. No idea.
Weird.
I remember when he was in trouble, I didn't know, I didn't pay that close attention to it, but I had it in my head that he went to jail or something like that, but I guess not.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that bad. It was like when I was 17 or 18, we had like an affair or something. It was something. It wasn't great, but he wasn't Cosby. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad. But someone had a podcast and they're like, "We got the voice of Elmo on the show this week," and I was like, "Oh, Kevin Clash," and then it was someone I'd never heard of in my life, and I'm like, "Oh man, I shouldn't have looked this up."
Oh, so you're just finding out about.
I think like you, I vaguely heard something about that when it happened, but then kind of just filed it away and was like, who cares?
I got you.
But not to start on a real downer note here, everybody.
Well,
yeah.
We're talking, as this is TV Guidance Council, we're going to talk Halloween episodes, spooky episodes, or Halloween specials. I gave you guys the task of coming up with 5 that either your favorites, maybe people haven't seen, maybe ones we haven't talked about before. Very difficult for Lamont because I think this is your 4th Halloween episode. We've discussed quite a few. And Walter did none of his homework, so very difficult for him as well.
I missed the memo. Ken. I was at the meeting yesterday, but nobody told me.
Walter, we only talked about it 5 times.
Yeah, but I have. But the thing is,
I feel like I came to school naked.
I have every confidence that you can come up with some off the top of your head. So
don't worry, and you guys will know the details, and I'll paint in a broad stroke.
Exactly.
That's what I'm good at.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's dive right in here, and I'm going to start with Lamont. So you have some time to. Normally, I'd start with the new guest because I like to be cordial to people for the first time, and then I'm just a dick. But to give you some time to think. So Lamont, and I imagine these are in no particular order. So, or you may go 5 to 1. But what is your first pick here?
No order at all. And let me just say that obviously, between the two of us, we've probably seen every Halloween episode of anything, and we love them. And and people know this about me who know me. I will watch any show's Halloween special, no matter how bad the show is. I don't care if I've never seen the show. All right, I will watch the Halloween special. I don't have to know anything about the show. I will watch the Halloween special. Right, so. Coming up with this list was kind of difficult, so I went in this direction. I decided to go with I like the sitcom Halloween special that feels like a bit of a departure from normal sitcominess, and actually feels like for a second somebody might die.
Oh, okay, so you went like truly scary sitcoms.
And I mean, sort of. You'll be the judge. People feel differently about certain things, so I can't speak for everybody. And two directions here. That direction, and these are 5 Halloween episodes that I don't really think anyone ever talks about.
Okay.
And 2 of them are new to me as of this season.
Okay.
Because I watched them recently and I was like, these are amazing.
Were they ones that were on my list that I gave you?
I gotta check the list again. Because I've been going between your list and Wikipedia.
Okay.
So the first one is one we've talked about in the past, where I've said this never gets any shine when it comes to Halloween specials. And that is the first Martin Halloween special.
Okay.
Martin has 2 Halloween specials in its 5 seasons, which I feel is a pretty good ratio. I feel like if you 5 seasons, 2 to 3, if you go 10 seasons, you got to give me 5.
Yeah, that's
at
fair.
least, right?
Because every year is almost too much.
I don't know. I'm okay with every year. Roseanne, Home Improvement, The Middle, Goldberg's, Blackish for the most part.
See,
I'm cool with it.
I would like to see one every year, but I feel like there's not every sitcom can pull one off every year. So it tends to be a little samey. Like even Night Court, they didn't do one every year. They had 10 seasons. They only did about 4 Halloween episodes.
No, they 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 5. Yeah, they did 5.
So they didn't do them quite every season. Yeah, so your exact ratio, it's a 50. It's a 2-to-1 ratio of Halloween episodes to seasons.
I mean, at the bare minimum, I feel like, and there's shows that I love that didn't even give me any of that. But like Seinfeld never did a Halloween episode. Although I feel The Opera is the closest thing they have.
That's what Crazy
to a Halloween episode.
Joe Davola.
Yes, I think that is as close as a sitcom has ever come to giving us Jason Voorhees.
Okay,
that character was a maniac. But so a lot of sitcoms I love didn't give me the ratio, but I do enjoy that ratio at the bare minimum. But I am not against giving me one every season. So anyway, Martin 2. The first one was called The Night He Came Home. In the episode is basically they prank one of the guys in the crew, and Martin calls everybody a bunch of punks because they were scared. And then as the episode goes on, they find out that the person who lived in Martin's apartment before him was this old man named Old Man Ackerman, and he died in the apartment. And they were hanging out on Halloween night telling ghost stories. And Tommy tells a story about Old Man Ackerman. And all of a sudden, all hell broke loose in the apartment. Lights go out. Tommy gets possessed. A ghost is beating up Cole. I mean, it feels like, it doesn't feel like your normal episode of Martin after 10 minutes.
Is Shanae in the episode?
Shanae is not in the episode.
I'm sold.
She is. Martin was Shanae in the episode. No. And like they go all out to where you think that, okay, maybe they are suggesting that the house was haunted at some point. And you can believe that within the show's universe that their apartment was haunted.
They leave it ambiguous. They're like, this isn't total bullshit.
They do and they don't. They reveal that it's a prank that they played on Martin, which reveal it as once it escalates to its height. You gotta see the episode to see what I'm saying. Like, ghosts come out. There's a ghost fight happening. They're fighting ghosts. You can hear the punches. And
hold on a second. Would you hear punches between ghosts fighting now? I think this is Walter. What do you think?
The ghost is fighting one of the guys.
But still,
I want to know who the ghost is. I need to know the identity of the ghost living in the apartment of Martin.
Old Man Ackerman.
Old Man Ackerman.
But are you sure? But where's the evidence? I've been watching a lot of fucking Only Murders in the Building, and I feel like Martin Short might have some issue with, well, maybe not Martin Short, but Steve Martin might be like, we need some more facts.
Do you think there's a person who tuned into Martin thinking it was a Martin Short show?
Oh, I hope so.
Like,
I want to watch that
show. It wasn't a Martin Short show? I thought it was.
They're like,
I thought it was
wow, Martin's playing a black guy in this show. Martin Short has a lot of range, but this is a character I've never seen him do.
I would watch the show of a guy tuning into Martin thinking that it's about Martin Short or Steve Martin. Or about Martin Short and Steve Martin, and they just call it Martin.
Yes.
All right. And Walter, did you not know what sitcom I was actually talking about?
No, you're talking about Martin. You know what happened, though, Lamont? Because we're friends, I'll be honest with you. Ken gave me shit about not being ready for the show, so I got my 5 episodes ready in those 30 seconds just then. And I was trying to write down the proper name of the Elf fucking Halloween special. I couldn't remember. And I confused it with my other favorite and combined it to an Enchanted Scary Dick, which isn't the name of the episode. What I'm two different. I wanted to make sure I had it right. Now I'm fucking so focused it's gonna hurt me.
All right, no.
To wrap the Martin thing up is they reveal it to be a prank, right? Yeah. And then at the end, Martin's hanging out with his girlfriend Gina, and they're on the couch and they're laughing about what happened that night. And Martin's like, "I'm cool with the prank." And then when they turn the lights out and they're kind of just they're making out, an actual ghost of Old Man Ackerman comes out behind them and leaves and actually turns the light off. And that's how the episode. That's how the episode ends.
Oh,
so they fucking have ghosts on Martin.
On that episode, yes.
That just confirms that Martin is not only a comedy; it's like a supernatural comedy.
Sure.
But it's the only time ghosts have appeared in the show that we know of.
Yeah, and there were no real ghosts in the other Halloween episode in which Martin bought a house for Mr. T.
Well, it was the ghost of Mr. T's career.
Oh, come on, Mr. T.
In the 90s? Totally.
Mr. T. Mr. T.
Which, of course, stood for
80s icon didn't have a dip in the 90s.
Mr. Right? Terrifying.
Every 80s icon who was identified by whatever they were and everything they were in had a dip in the 90s. I'll tell you, and a resurgence later.
I'll tell you one who didn't.
Who?
Hasselhoff.
What?
Yo, come on, son.
He had a dip later.
Not in the 90s.
Yes, he did. Hamburgers off the floor.
Okay, Baywatch. But
went right from Night Rider to Baywatch.
Baywatch. Okay, so his dip was in the 2000s.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a dip.
No.
And by the way, Hasselhoff doesn't count there because he wasn't. I guess he was playing Hasselhoff in every movie. But he wasn't sort of Mr. T or...
No, Mr. T was a cultural icon, which is...
Yes,
right.
Lunchboxes and masks.
Yeah.
Like you could buy a mask of his face.
If
you could buy a mask of somebody's face, how fucked up is that for your own psyche? Like somebody can walk around, they don't put a costume on to be you as Halloween. They put your face on their face.
Who else?
It's you. That's going to fuck you up somehow.
Who
else? A little bit of like, ooh.
Can we think of anyone else like Mr. T that became an icon like that? Just their own persona.
Elvira?
That's not her persona, though.
Well, I don't know Mr. T for real. You know Elvira. I don't know Mr. T when he's not Mr. T.
Mr. T doesn't have like Mr. T's the character. Like he legally changed his name to Mr. T. Like that's the dude, you know? Like he doesn't have a take the mask off behind the scenes persona. You know what I mean?
But see, all I can say about that is I don't know. I can't say that. Can I say that 100%?
His daughter does stand up in Chicago.
I've heard about that, but I mean, seriously though, like when he's at home, the doors are closed. He's not making commercials now. If he's not like, hey, I'm Julius T. Weatherford.
His legal name's Mr. Period T.
Yeah, you gotta make money. There comes a point where you realize, you know what? The only way I'm gonna make some money is with this Mr. T shit.
Mm-hmm. But
so I might as well go all in.
Can I just chime in?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to. I just want to interrupt. I'm sorry. I read a book when I was a kid called Mr. T Teaches You How to Ride a Bike, and it was this little book, a kid's book, and it's like it's Mr. T teaching you how to ride a bike. He's sitting next to you. You get the bike. He's like, "Come on up, Mr. T. Come on, you can do it." And at the end, he's like, "See, you learned because of me and Jesus." So I like that book. Was interesting. I like
that
Mr.
sounds
T,
like Mr.
Jesus.
T. He was very Jesus-y.
So maybe
Go ahead.
Jesus and E.T. I mean, Mr. T.
If you haven't read his autobiography, I highly recommend it. In fact, I might buy a ton of copies and just give those out at Halloween if anyone comes to my house. Because he talks about how before he was famous, he had changed his name to Mr. T. He won like the toughest bouncer in America award, which is how people first noticed him. But he fully admits in this book to straight up murdering like 3 dudes.
Wow.
He pitied those fools.
He did pity those
For
fools.
sure.
Now I want to see like a Christmas Carol ghost story of Mr. T haunted by the ghosts of the people he murdered.
Yo, but listen, my main point was not so much that he's who he is. I'm saying that for the most part, in anything he showed up in, he was Mr. T. So that was my comparison to Elvira. Not that, I mean, like every time you saw Elvira in something, she was Elvira. She wasn't Cassandra. He was in Weird Al Yankovic. He's always Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al's
so that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I think Weird Al's a good analogy, a good comparison there, because he's always.
You know, I mean, I watched. This isn't on my list, but I watched the Fall Guy Halloween episode with Elvira. Yeah, where she spent the whole episode trying to bang
Lee Majors,
the Fall Guy, Lee Majors, in an episode that I'm sure was written by Lee Majors.
He did have that power at the time. Like, no, I just had this idea. I don't know.
And the whole time he's like, nah, listen, you just relax, Elvira.
I will say, I think it's great that the Martin episode, even though it doesn't sound like it is thematically aligned with this, is named after a reference to the original Halloween film. And it also strikes me that George Romero, which Walter and I were talking about before we recorded, has a movie called Martin that's about a kid who thinks he's a vampire. Or does he? Which is kind of it's like, is he a crazy person who thinks he's a vampire? Or is he actually a vampire? It's a great movie. It's one of Romero's best movies. But also, I now had a vision of someone confusing Martin and Martin.
Martin and Martin, so the sitcom we need to pitch is, like I said, Martin and Martin, starring Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Martin.
And then Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence gets it. He shows up. He shows up in the season finale
as their
Martin Scorsese directs.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we just sold this. We made so much money.
We did.
So on to Walter.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Are we doing? We're going like.
Yeah, we'll go back and forth.
We'll go back. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you only got one pick. I didn't like it, so you can't do your rest.
Take another spin. All right. I totally got this all ready before the show happened. Listen, I'm sorry, Ken. I'm apologizing profusely, but
loose,
man. I figured it out. Here's the thing. Season 1, I don't know if anybody's seen this. Season 1, episode 2 of the Ewoks, the cartoon, is called The Haunted Village. And it's the best episode of that show. It's about a spooky village full of little goblin monsters. And this is why I love it. Ewoks are already fucked up already. Like, Jimbo loves Ewoks.
I love Ewoks. I'll tell you why.
Just tell them why. I'm going to tell them. You go ahead.
I love Ewoks for like one fucking reason. They're cute, furry, and they fucking eat people.
They absolutely do. They eat people. Nobody minds that. Like in Han Solo, Princess Leia, nobody cares that they were going to fucking eat them 5 seconds ago. They ate a bunch of stormtroopers. So they're already fucking creepy.
It's like
So if there's a haunted
jungle,
house.
You don't forget though. I didn't mean to cut you off, but don't forget one of the reasons the Ewoks chilled out is because of that stand-up set that C-3PO did.
See?
He was crushing. Go back and watch Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
C-3PO was doing stand-up and he was crushing.
Stand-up is the
he knew
natural.
he had them in his hand. He was ready.
Stand-up is the natural antidote to cannibalism.
So anyway, if it creeps a fucking Ewok out, it's got to be a spooky village. So I like that episode. There you go.
All right, somewhere in this mess, I have a bunch of original animation cells from the Ewoks and Droids
Shut
cartoons.
your mouth,
because
Ken.
Paul Dini, that was his first gig in animation. Paul Dini worked on that show and wrote some of those episodes. He may have even written that episode because that sounds like a Dini episode.
It's my favorite.
I'm going to go with one that I've never talked about on the show before, and it is not technically a Halloween episode in that this show was a mid-season replacement. It started in January 1998, and so this episode didn't air at Halloween. It's episode 12 of the 10 of the 13-episode first season. Guesses? You have a guess?
Okay, wait a minute. So you say it was a mid-season replacement?
Yep.
But this episode didn't air on Halloween or around Halloween, but it is about Halloween?
No.
It's just a creepy episode.
It's an episode about Friday the 13th. So they're all
Okay.
trying to scare each other. There's a lot of monster masks, a lot of horror movie references.
Okay. So then, oh wow. So you went off the map there. I could. Okay. I could have added. I could have just did the opera. Okay. What year?
98. So it started January 98.
98. It's a sitcom?
No.
Okay. Oh. Come on. Ally McBeal.
No, it's not Alan.
My so-called life.
No, but you're close. That's a closer guess. It's Dawson's Creek.
Oh,
Oh.
in between.
So there's an episode of Dawson's Creek in the first season that takes place on Friday the 13th. There's a lot of horror movie talk. There's a lot of horror masks. There's Michael Myers mask. There's Jason stuff. There's is this guy a murderer kind of stuff. They're actually watching I Know What You Did Last Summer on TV, which is funny because Kevin Williamson, who created Dawson's Creek, wrote Scream and that movie. It's a pretty great 90s sort of spooky episode that is an honorable mention as it is not specifically a Halloween episode.
No, you can. I mean, keep it. I just didn't know.
So, for example, 10 Little Indians or 7 Little Indians from Facts of Life with the murderers. That's not a Halloween episode, but 100% belongs on your Halloween viewing list. So this one I would put in that category as well.
Dawson's Creek, by the way, was a show when it aired. I didn't watch immediately, but I had a buddy, one of my good friends back then, a football player, very, dude, Dawson's Creek. You gotta watch Dawson's Creek.
It's actually.
I was like, I guess. I mean, I don't know what channel. Was it WB?
WB, yeah, it was one of the first WB.
So
dramas.
WB, man, WB, you gotta check it out. And I was like, all right. And then this guy got me hooked on two things that year. He got me hooked on Dawson's Creek, which I watched religiously. And yes. And that's why I am the man I am today. Dawson's Creek, which I started watching religiously. The first 2 seasons, I was all about it. Then I didn't care anymore. And then, Garth Brooks concerts.
Oh, you've seen Garth Brooks live?
No, but he had
on video.
He had the video of one of his concerts, and he was like, dude, you gotta check this out. And I was like, yeah, all right, dude, come on over, man. It's Saturday night, Dawson's Creek, Garth Brooks. What can be better than that? And I was like, yeah, all right, Hulk Hogan. So I went over and hung out, and we watched Dawson's Creek and the Garth Brooks concerts, and I gotta say, the concerts were dope. Like, I was like, I've never seen Garth Brooks in concert, but I got it. I was like, I get it.
Yeah, Friends in Low Places has some qualities. Yeah.
Yes, I was hooked on that song, man.
Everybody enjoys
I never
it.
liked Garth Brooks, but I liked Chris Gaines.
Well, we all liked Chris Gaines better than Garth Brooks.
Chris Gaines was my cup of tea.
I go back and forth on Garth Brooks because he was infamously, he was the first guy to come out against used record stores. And he boycotted used record stores. Yeah. So in the 90s, in the 80s, there was a big thing about home taping is going to kill the record industry if people tape records and whatever. But in the 90s, it was used CDs. So used LPs weren't a problem because people were like, oh, they get shitty after a while. But the idea was CDs, they're just as good the day you bought them as, if you buy a used one or whatever. So the record industry tried to boycott stores that sold used CDs. They would not sell them new product. So Garth Brooks was like that. He was the Lars Ulrich's Napster of used CDs in 1992. And it specifically was like, if your store sells used CDs, you can't sell Garth Brooks albums.
Well,
and it blew up in his face, and it was a huge mistake. But I didn't like him for that. But then this year, he's doing this dive bar tour, and he's only playing dive bars because he said those are the only venues that would agree to be fully vaccinated vaccine card places, and arenas wouldn't do it. And he's like, these places, they already had that policy, so that's where I'm playing.
That's what's up.
That's cool.
I'm like,
My
works
love
me.
for Garth Brooks has just been rekindled.
Yeah, I'm like, it works for me. So Dawson's Creek does have an actual Halloween episode a few seasons later, like when they're in college, and it's Katie Holmes is like terrorized in a library by like maybe a serial killer, and this Friday the 13th episode is actually a better Halloween episode, even though it's not one. So that's my pick.
I wonder what their thought process. I remember when that show was being promoted because they promoted it as Michelle Williams was blonde.
Yeah.
She's the one that everyone's going to fall in love with.
Yeah.
And then when the show happened, everybody said no.
Well, she was the bad girl, and then Katie Holmes was like the tomboy. She's the ducky of the show.
But I don't understand. Maybe it's a cultural thing. When I see that show, and then I see like what's the She's All That, that kind of movie, which I love. Also, by the way, that movie comes on, remote control goes down. You understand? And I look at Laney Boggs or I look at Joey on Dawson's Creek, and I wonder how it's a revelation that she's awesome. Like, what's happening here?
It's the tomboy best friend syndrome. Like, it makes sense.
It's like Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Boof.
All right,
Boof was hot.
Jimbo, wake up.
Boof was werewolf.
Yeah, somebody said Teen Wolf, Jimbo.
Okay.
Boof was easily.
Yeah.
It's not even like, I'm not saying that the blonde was not attractive. She was, but Boof, come on, man.
Yeah. Boof was.
That's how enamored the 80s were with blondes.
It's true. Boof was where I was at. Just by the nature of having dark hair, you were not the one they wanted.
Are you kidding me? Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. You're up again. You're number 4, Lamont.
Yeah.
All right. So my next episode, let's see. The next episode I'm going to choose here is a show that I've seen many episodes of. It's an iconic sitcom. I've never watched it sort of straight through. Like, I'm going to watch all of this, but I think I'm going to now, and not because of this episode, just because I'm like, why wouldn't I? This show's great. Newhart.
Oh shit.
This is one of the two that I just saw for the first time this year.
Does it Take Me to Your Loudon?
Take Me to Your Loudon.
Yep.
The epitome of the show about the guy who moves into a town full of idiots.
Yep.
And is trying to navigate this whole episode. Can you know it? The town is just sure that they're being invaded by aliens, and the only person who's like, these people are fucking stupid, is Dick Loudon.
Yep.
And it's such a good episode.
It's amazing.
It's the way they, what's really great about it is that the entire episode, if you're really paying attention, there are 3 characters who are always in the show who just aren't there, and you forget it because everything happening is so funny and so rapid fire. And who's the cop on the show?
Oh yeah.
That guy is amazing.
Yeah.
And he steals every scene he's in, and they lull you to sleep until the very end. And the studio audience damn near gives it away, because then they realize, when you realize, oh, Larry, Darryl, and Daryl are who have been freaking everybody out for the past 12 hours.
Yeah.
It builds to this crescendo of like, the aliens are coming, all these reports, the cows are glowing, no one has an explanation for why things are happening, and they never show those characters until the very end. And you're like, it makes sense that I forgot about them because everything else was so good, you're not thinking about them, but then you feel stupid for not going, where are they at? But you realize because it was so good, they made you forget that those guys were there or weren't there yet, and then they smack you with them at the end. I watched the episode. This should be a show of me watching that episode.
Reaction video.
Because I'm sitting there loving what I'm seeing, and then when they come, you see it's dark, and they have the antler, whatever the
lights
the
out. Yeah.
And then the crowd starts to pop a little. They go, oh, and then boom.
Huge.
My name is Larry. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. And I'm like, of course.
Yeah, Newhart is such a good show. Like I am totally here for you watching that whole series because it is maybe my favorite sitcom of the 80s. There's not a single bad episode. The cast is amazing, and I think I recommended Green Acres to you before. It's a very similar vibe with this like normal city guy in this place where everyone is a crazy idiot around him, and he's just like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like, but it's so good. This episode also has my maybe my favorite Stephanie joke in the whole thing, and I got to actually I've said this.
Is it about the costume?
Yes, I've said this to Julia Duffy about, and we've exchanged this joke with each other before in person, and it's George is dressed as the Cowardly Lion, and he goes, "Hey, guess who I am?" And Stephanie goes, "Joanna?" Who's Dick's wife because she's got the big, and he goes, "No, I'm the Cowardly Lion." And she goes, "Well, you should wear a name tag or something because everyone's going to think you're Joanna." And then there's another great Stephanie joke in that same episode where everyone's accusing each other of being an alien. And Stephanie points to Joanna and she goes, "Whenever we go into town, she's always buying batteries." And she just goes, "Stephanie," and it's such a good subtle dildo joke that they managed to get in the show. That's a great episode. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know how because I scour for episodes every year, and I somehow missed it. And I'm happy that I did because that means there's still more things out there.
Oh yeah,
that maybe I haven't seen. And I like seeing things over, but I love stuff that I haven't seen before. So I was like, how did I miss this? And then I watched it, and I was almost surprised at how good I felt it was.
Yeah, it's great.
That's how good it was. It was so good that I was like, nothing could be this good.
I used to watch that show like all the time when I was a kid, but like I don't remember any of it other than going,
Well, that's how I watched it. I would see it, and I'd watch episodes on. It would come on like what, Channel 38?
Yeah,
I think in Boston.
6 o'clock or something. Yeah,
yeah, and so I've seen it. It was like, for me, it was like Cheers before Netflix had Cheers, and I really watched Cheers run on Netflix. I never really before, so that's what, because as a kid, me and Ken, I think I've talked about this before. As a kid, Channel 38 to me was the boring adult channel.
Yeah, it was Barney Miller, Cheers. Yeah.
It wasn't flashy like 56 or even 25 to a lesser extent.
They didn't have Sitcom City.
Yeah, right. Back to back, belly to belly. It's a sitcom jamboree.
Yeah, but those shows have become my favorite shows as an adult, like Barney Miller, Cheers, Newhart. Like those are the shows I'll watch over and over again, and those shows feel timeless in a lot of ways because they're just character shows.
Barney Miller was my dad's favorite sitcom. When I was a kid, it would come on like 7 to 7:30 on Channel 38, right? And I knew that when I heard boom, 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 I knew that for the next 30 minutes, I could rob a bank. And my dad would not give a fuck. He was glued. If it wasn't Barney Miller, he was on the 68 watching the streets of San Francisco.
He had good taste.
Yeah.
Newhart, that is one of my all-time favorite Halloween episodes. I cannot disagree with a single thing there. Walter, your second pick.
All right. Now, I don't know if anybody's seen this show. I have a strange childhood. I grew up on a boat. We didn't have a TV. And then when we had a TV, we didn't have many channels.
Gilligan's Island. It's Gilligan's Island.
It's not Gilligan's Island. I didn't see that till much later.
Oh.
But I was like, that's my fucking life. No, Father Ted is the show.
Yep.
Okay. It's one of my favorite fucking of all time. It's
I don't know that show.
So Father Ted is an Irish sitcom from the 90s. It's Graham Linehan who did the IT Crowd and worked on a bunch of shows.
Oh, so it was in Ireland.
It's an Irish sitcom. It aired on PBS here in this
PBS. Like Red Dwarf and stuff would. And Are You Being Served?
Are You Being Served? I definitely watched all the time on PBS when I was a kid. I love that show.
Yeah, me too. But so you'd probably like Father Ted. I think you should check it out, man. Anyway, so it's like, I don't know if it's technically it is the Halloween special, but there's nothing spooky about it. They fight over there. Here's fill you in, Lamont. It's about an island in the middle of nowhere that has this house of priests on it. but they're like, they don't really want to be priests. They don't give a fuck about it. They're just like there because they're being punished for being bad priests, and not like bad priests, but like stealing money, being stupid. And like the old priest is like this old drunk guy who like just fucking fuck shit.
Yeah, he just yells fuck every couple seconds.
Every couple seconds. That's all he does.
So there's a lot of cursing in the sitcom.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You know, feck, girls, arse, that kind of thing. I mean, crazy for the times. But like, and then the younger priest has like a Bjork poster, and he's got like Masters of the Universe bed sheets and shit.
Yeah,
and that's Dougal. He's the young dumb one. And then Father Ted, the name of the show, Ted Father, is the older guy who's, you know, everything fucking happens kind of like
he's the Dick Loud.
He's the normal one, and all the dumb people keep fucking with them, like you were just talking about, right? Okay. So that's why I think you dig it. But in the Halloween episode, or at least the episode where they wear costumes, they both, the young one and Father Ted, fight over who can be Elvis. And so Ted's like the young Elvis, and then Dougal's like the fucking like the Jailhouse Rock Elvis. But then the old fucking priest is like, I'm gonna fucking Elvis. And so what the reveal is this, because they can't figure out to keep fighting. So the show reveals this, and the curtain opens up where they're at this priest fucking like talent show that priests have on the island. I don't know what the fuck, you know. And like they open the curtain, and it's the ages of Elvis. And it's young Elvis, which is the young priest. It's Ted, who's the middle Elvis, and then the old fucking, it's the old priest in a chair with a giant fucking hamburger with vomit down his chin.
Father
dressed
Jack.
as old Elvis, Vegas Elvis. And it was, you know, I like that episode.
It's great. That show had a really dark sense of humor as well. Like in the first episode, they go to like a fair. And this is after Dougal is talking to Father Ted, and he's like, I was thinking about, they got a spider baby there, Ted.
Spider baby,
and
Ted.
He's like, what are you talking about? He goes, it's got the head of a baby and the body of a spider. But there's like this hick in the town who just, Ted sees him and he goes, Father, I killed a man. And then they just don't mention it again. Yeah, it's very funny.
Oh, it's okay. It's on Pluto.
Yeah.
And it's on a bunch of places for free.
Yeah,
okay.
You love Father Ted. It's Lenahan, who's kind of grown into being a real piece of shit in the last couple of years.
Asshole,
but was very funny. But he was incredible. His favorite show is Seinfeld, and so this was his attempt to write Irish Seinfeld, which it doesn't come across. It's like a band who's like, oh, we're just ripping off whoever, but you're like, I would not have thought that, but that's how it came out. This is how Irish Seinfeld came out, and it's like,
because when I figured it was the 90s, and the weirdest part that made me think it was the 90s was the fact that they had Masters of the Universe bed sheets.
Yes.
I'm like, they were either right on top of the He-Man wave, or they just were like living in nostalgia at that point.
Yeah,
the priest he's still a kid. He's like still being a kind of a kid.
He was an idiot. He's like a simpleton.
Sure.
And he's a stand-up.
Graham Norton's in this.
Graham Norton is in it. Yep.
Sure.
He's very funny in it.
I think by the way, I think he's got the best talk show that ever happened.
Hands down. Like the way he has the guests interact is great. Like it's just amazing. Yeah.
It's not even like it's
almost everyone on Father Ted was a stand-up. So it's like all stand-ups in this show, and I now need to see a reaction video of Lamont watching Father Ted.
Oh my gosh, yes. Fuck yeah.
My second pick is this aired, it's a two-parter. So it aired on October 22nd, 1982, and then October 29th, 1982. It's a two-parter. Do you want to guess? Lamont looks like he wants to guess.
No, when you said two-parter or parter, I thought initially you were gonna snake one of mine, but then you said the year, and I was like, okay, no, it's not that one. Although I don't know that mine's still not on your list at some point, but that's okay. I got backups if you do have it. 82 sitcom.
Yeah.
Not Cheers, because Cheers never had a two-part Halloween. I'm blanking.
Benson.
Oh shit.
So this is Benson. This is a two-parter called Death in a Funny Position. And this is relevant to Walter's youth. This takes place all on a boat. And the governor is invited to this boat, like to go on a cruise with these high-powered whatever people, and people start getting murdered on the boat. Like straight up murdered. And the whole time you're watching it, you're like, is this a dream episode? Is it going to turn out they're all alive and it's a joke? No, there's an actual murderer on the boat murdering people, and it's a two-part episode where they're like being menaced by a murderer on a boat.
And what was the name of the episode, Ken? I missed that part.
Death in a funny position.
Wasn't it? Didn't the Jeffersons do something like that? Not like as a Halloween episode, but did they have an episode where they were on a boat or like on a murder mystery something, and there's actually people getting murdered?
Maybe. Believe it or not, I haven't seen that much of the Jeffersons.
Ooh.
There's an awesome Columbo, but there's always a murder on that show. But there's a boat Columbo where he goes on a cruise with his wife, but you never see her. But she's on the cruise with him, and he's solving a crime.
Mrs. Columbo, who got her own spinoff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Of course, she was never on the show.
No.
On the original Columbo.
No.
And then Mrs. Columbo. I've never seen Mrs. Columbo.
She was played by Janeway from Star Trek.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That was
She was Mrs. Columbo, yeah.
I read the Peter Falk biography, and I loved it. Every ounce of it.
Oh, I bet. The guy's amazing.
Okay, amazing. Look, hold on. I did this to Lamont last time. We had a little thing. Hi, everybody. I know it's a podcast, but just imagine I am holding up a Columbo poker chip.
Yes.
And everybody can see my Peter Falk poker chip. It's my lucky poker chip.
How much is that worth?
Poker. How much is this thing worth?
Yeah, if you were to bet with it, like, what's a Columbo?
It's worth one glass eye.
One glass eye for a Columbo.
There's no plastic around it. The depreciation has been going down.
Yeah, I took it back in. It's all right. It's still in BG plus. It'll be okay.
Lamont, your third pick.
My third pick. Okay, well, since we're on that theme anyway, I might as well just go ahead and say the Jeffersons. Nice. I like when they really think that somebody was killed on the show. Now, I didn't realize. Now, Benson, great pick. When people actually were murdered. This is an episode of the Jeffersons that's called "Now You See It, Now You Don't," where Wheezy thinks she sees somebody. It's like sort of a what's the
Rear Window?
Rear Window, where she thinks she sees a murder across the street or whatever in their high rise, and they're all going to a Halloween party, but she thinks she sees a murder happen, and also the murderer sees her seeing the thing. And then in any sitcom, when you try to explain what's happening to the people around you, they're too busy trying to get something else going, so they're cutting you off. You don't understand. I just saw, oh, we gotta get ready for the party. So
right.
Like that's her, and then her trying to figure out if that really happened or not. Right now, it didn't really happen, and I got to be honest about this. I didn't have a chance yet this season so far to watch the episode again, so I can't give you a fresh account of how it wrapped up because I don't remember exactly. I can't remember that no one was actually killed and that her eyes are playing tricks on her. Now you see it, now you don't. But I've been so busy watching everything else that
There's still time.
I didn't. But I just remember that this one I really loved a lot just because it felt creepy, it felt real, and I felt like Wheezy might bite it. In this episode, I felt like this dude's gonna see you. You know what's the freakiest thing to me? Let's just say I saw Jason Voorhees across the way, right? To me, that would be far more creepier than him like being right there in front of me. Because in front of me, I don't have time to think. It's a wrap. It's done. You know what I mean? I had a good run.
Suspense. You're going to anticipate him coming after you. Yeah.
Yes. That is far scarier to me than the actual event of it ending.
Suspense
and
versus
so
shock.
the idea that you don't know where this guy's going to be at, if he's going to ever get Wheezy, like, and this, just saying the name Wheezy in this scenario is hilarious. Is he going to get Wheezy? Tune in next week.
Wheezy's
So yeah, so that the Jeffersons, Now You See It, Now You Don't, is my third offering.
Excellent pick. Walter, you're number 3.
All right, here we go. Now for my list of well-prepared episodes. Can I do one that I don't like? Because that's all right.
Oh,
right?
yeah, if you think it's worth watching.
I don't like, but I'm not sure if you guys have seen this one, so maybe it'd be helpful because you haven't seen it. Major Pain is now on Netflix. So big news. Major Pain.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I had a call with Walter yesterday, and we're
The
just
Daily-
talking about like the lineup of the show today, and we're going through it. And he goes, "Oh, by the way, did you hear? Major Payne's on Netflix."
Wait, Major
I was
Payne
like,
is Damon
"Alright."
Wayne's movie?
Not Major Payne,
Major Dad.
Major Dad.
Major Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, Major Dad.
Major
Okay.
Dad's, and I was like,
Major
"Oh,
Dad.
Jell McRaney."
Yeah.
And then I started singing I started humming the Simon and Simon theme song, and Walter didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah. Mr. Delta
I've seen
Burke.
Cloak and Dagger, though. I've seen Cloak and Dagger. Same guy. He's in that.
No, that's Dabney Coleman in Cloak and Dagger.
God damn it. That's not the same guy.
No.
They look the same. They get the
Yeah,
same,
and
the same hair going on.
And that's also not him in Drexel's class either.
That is also
Damn it.
Dabney Coleman.
My life is now shattered by all my fucking hopes and dreams.
Jack Fleck.
I thought that guy was. Anyway, so this is
All
the same
bald
guy who's
white
on
guys
Lost.
with mustaches look the same.
Well, in the early 80s, they did.
He's similar. He looks similar.
Yeah, I'll give
Anyways,
it to you.
Major fucking Dad, has a fucking Halloween episode. And it's terrible. You know when they used to do the Halloween episodes because they're like, you know what? It's fucking Halloween and we're a shitty show and we got to figure out some fucking thing to do. This was that episode. So it's a Halloween episode. Major Dad, you know how it is. It was like the pre-Dharma and Greg fucking show. You know, like Major Dad's strict military man and his wife is, she's a loose, she fucking flies loose.
It's a free
She's got
spirit.
the kids. Yeah. And like, he's fucking straight flying and blah, blah, you know, and so they're back and forth all the time. But the kids are like, we want to have Halloween. And he's like, okay, have a good Halloween, but be safe. And then like, for some reason, the little kids start sneaking out, following them all around, trying to fuck with all the shit up. Nothing spooky happens in the whole fucking episode. I don't know why. And and the reason I watched it was this. They had a great episode. I'm hijacking this motherfucker. I'm sorry, Ken and Lamont.
No, go for it.
They had a great episode of Major Dad. That was the Christmas episode when the kid, just little fucking kid, all she wanted was Teenage Mutant Iguana Turtles or some fucking bullshit thing they had to say instead of Ninja Turtles so they wouldn't get sued. So it was like the Ninja Iguanas set. And then a whole episode, she fucking wants them. She wants them. I'm not going to get them. We can't get them this year, Major Dad says. And then please. She wakes up Christmas morning, and lo and behold, on the tree are all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Lizards that she wanted. Now, that episode gave me like, oh, fuck yes. That's nice when I was a child. This episode was the opposite of that. I fucking hated it. But it's a Halloween one. So check it out.
Couple things real quick, Walter. Number one,
Yeah.
there are no bad Halloween episodes.
There you go.
You understand?
But there's no candy and there's no mask.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Just for a second.
Right.
Slow your roll. Just for a second.
Huh?
If they give you the respect of even saying Halloween
Okay.
in the episode, it's a good episode.
Okay.
I want you
just
to know
was worried
that.
it wouldn't meet your standard.
2, I have no standards when it comes to Halloween episodes. I think I said that up top. I will watch anything.
Okay.
2, Dharma and Greg, which didn't make my list, they have a couple of really good Halloween episodes, especially one where they think there's a ghost in the attic or in the closet in the house they just moved into. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
No.
As a matter of fact, I think I have the name of it.
Yeah, tell me the name. I'll put it on my list to make sure I have enough.
There's no bad Halloween episodes, only bad owners.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't write the name down. But they have I think 3. I think the show went 5 or 6 seasons. And I think they have 3 Halloween episodes. But the Ghost in the Closet, I'll find it and I'll say it later.
I need to watch the Major Dad just because I watched it when it aired and I haven't watched it since. And if it's on Netflix, I'll queue it up and watch it this month.
Yeah, check it out.
As I'm searching for this name, I just realized that I'm still in the middle of the Home Movies Halloween episode.
Oh, that is a really good one.
Oh, I fucking love that episode.
Home Movies is
every single episode.
Yeah. My next pick is also not an episode that aired during Halloween. So this episode is from season 3.
Breaking all the rules.
I know. It's my show. You break the rules on your show.
I wrote a bunch.
So this is season 3 of this show, and this aired on February 8th, 1978. It is an hour-long action show. Do you have any guesses?
78, hour-long action show.
Mission Impossible.
78. Let me see.
Mission Impossible is my guess.
Nope.
Guess is
Hawaii 5-0 was still on then?
I don't know, actually. It's not Hawaii
Okay, so
Five-O.
it's not Hawaii 5-0. 18 wasn't around yet.
You don't see
Dukes
a lot
of
of
Hazzard. I'm gonna say Dukes of Hazzard.
Not Dukes of Hazzard, but sort of in that vein. But you have reminded me, you don't see a lot of Halloween in Hawaii things. Christmas in Hawaii, sure, but never Halloween in Hawaii. Closest you might get is the 2-part Brady Bunch with the cursed idol, which I actually have here. I have the actual cursed idol here, which is there he is.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go surfing. But this is Starsky and Hutch. And this episode is called Satan's Witches. And this is an episode where Starsky and Hutch go on vacation together. And they go fishing to this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and the whole town is Satanists, for real Satanists, who are like doing blood sacrifices and stuff. And Starsky and Hutch got to stop them. It's not a misunderstanding. It's not like the Burbs, like, they're full on Satanists in this town, and Starsky and Hutch gotta stop the Satanists from sacrificing this woman.
Oh man!
How do you stop? Come on, don't leave us with that. How
and you gotta watch it. I mean, they use guns, but
right.
For a second, I thought Starsky and Hutch was the one with the dog in it.
Oh no, that's Turner and Hooch.
Oh, Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch is what I was thinking. It's like, what did the fucking dog do? Was he like, oh shit, there's a bunch of satanic dogs here?
No,
that era was definitely the height of the and.
Oh yeah,
the and the Sun and some show.
Yeah, it's
Starsky and Hutch.
Great show.
Sorry.
It's a show. It used to be kind of a show that was like a punchline, like a joke show, you would say. But I've rewatched it, and it's actually intentionally very funny. And the chemistry between the leads is really good. Of course, I've had Starsky on the show.
Well,
Paul Michael Glaser is really funny, who has the heaviest old man Boston accent. So it's hilarious on that show because it was such a cultural phenomenon. And he's just this friggin' dude from Newton. And he's on the show.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was local.
Oh, from Cambridge, actually. I mentioned Newton because, when you're on I-90 and you drive under the Star Market, the supermarket, his dad designed that. His dad was an architect, and Paul Michael Glaser also directed The Running Man and Band of the Hand and the Shaquille O'Neal film Shazam.
Wow. My aunt Adrian was. I remember being a kid. My aunt was obsessed with Starsky and Hutch.
It's great.
She had a puzzle that she like a 1,000-piece puzzle that she put together and had laminated. And had as a poster on her wall. Like, she was in love. I don't know who she loved more, Starsky or Hutch, but she loved that show so much. And it comes on now all the time on Get TV.
Yeah, it's
like every night. I'll definitely look for that episode, and because I never really watched the show before, but
you'll be surprised.
Certainly look for that episode.
It holds up. Like, you will be surprised. Like, a lot of those shows don't necessarily hold up, but this one is entertaining. It's intentionally funny. There's some good action stuff in it. It's not that slow. The leads are great. And then David Soul, who's Hutch, stars in Salem's Lot. So, that's like a weird, that's one of my favorite horror movies of all time, even though it was a miniseries.
Movie freaked me out. Yeah. That movie had me scared of windows.
Yep, to this day.
For a decade. Yep. Like, I did not like windows. I did not like looking outside.
That's why you're a Mac guy.
What?
You don't like windows. That's why you're a Mac guy.
It was so, like, when I was a kid, my cousin lived across the street from us, and we go over their house, and so they had like their backyard. When it was dark, there was no lights. It was just, you look out his window and you could see, like, anything could just show up out of nowhere. You could see, because it was pitch black. There was no signs that there was actually an outside from his window somehow. And he used to convince me, when we're like 8, 9 years old, that at night there was a tiger in his backyard. And my dumbass believed it. And it was a combination of being 8 years old and gullible, and my cousin being the same age but cooler than me, and very convincing, and the fact that you could not see anything outside that window, and Salem's Lot having me afraid of windows, that I would constantly, no matter what we were doing, keep glancing at the window, like, just in case. And he loved it. He loved every second of it. Still freaks me out.
Well, you're number 2.
Okay. My number... Well, there's no order here, but... So my 4th entry... before that, let me just say, the Dahmer and Greg episode I'm talking about is called A Closet Full of Hell.
Okay.
Yeah, and they think... They discover this closet, and they go in there, and there are a bunch of dolls in the closet. And they're like, who? They never knew this closet existed. And they're like, where'd all this come from? And then they go back later after they tell everybody, and they discover that there are suddenly 2 dolls in there that are dolls of them. Oh. And now they're freaked out. And then they discover a lady in the closet who they're sure she's going to kill them. And then she tells them that she's just a lonely old lady who makes dolls of people that she sees when she looks out the window, but she doesn't have any companions. So they're like, oh my goodness. And then they become friends with her. And then the next day they take her like a cake. They make her a cake and they bring it to her apartment. And then her son answers the door. And they're like, we're looking for Miss Johnson. I can't remember her name. We're looking for Miss Johnson. And the guy's like, what? Miss Johnson, the old lady, you brought her a cake. My mom's been dead for 5 years. And then they're like, what? And then they're ready to move. And then they reveal that like it was like all their friends were playing a prank on them. And so the old lady shows up, and the whole thing was a setup. But it's a really good episode. Honorable mention though. My next episode is one Ken knows well, and one that I thought Ken was going to say when he mentioned Benson, because it's a 2-parter. And that Jefferson's, by the way, is a 2-parter as well. Growing Pains, Happy Halloween. It's Halloween night. They're all getting ready to do different things. Carol's got a date. She never has a date, so she's so excited about finally having a date, wearing a very revealing costume.
Yeah, she's gone medieval.
She totally went medieval. Corset, everything going on. Ben, I think, is going to a Halloween party. Chrissy, who was born the season before and is now suddenly 15, she wants to go trick-or-treating so bad, and I think it's raining outside. And Mike isn't home. Mike is out, presumably on a date. And because they can't go trick-or-treating because it's raining, they decide to sit around and tell stories. And each one of them has a different Halloween story. And where it gets creepy, everyone's Halloween story is pretty fine until Mike comes home and tells his story, and Ken knows this well, about how he was driving along and he sees a car that was in an accident on the side of the road, and there's a girl there that he's like, oh, do you need any help? And she's like, yeah, but she's being very weird, and she, she runs off, and he's trying to get her, like, I'll drive you home, but she's giving him directions, and it's to this, she directs him to this weird bar, right? Or a restaurant or pub or whatever. And they go in, and it's just all these, like, now dead celebrities. There's like Babe Ruth, Marilyn Monroe, Abe Lincoln, but it's Halloween, so you could just go, people are dressing up.
In costumes, yeah.
In costumes. And Mike's trying to get this girl home. He's trying to, he's like, I need to call your parents. We need to call your parents to let them know you're okay. She keeps calling him another name. Freddie, I think, is the name she keeps calling him. And then he goes to call her parents, comes back, tells the bartender, who's Abe Lincoln, tells him that, hey, I called the parents. When I said that I'm bringing her home, her mom started crying and hung up on me. And then, but she keeps saying, I'm trying to get home. And then they finally reveal it, she's been trying to go home for 17 years.
Yeah.
And then, like, she gets out of the car at one point and runs through the woods. He chases her because he's stupid. I'd have been gone. And, hey, there's only so much time. There's only so many fucks I can give. Mm-hmm. And she runs into a cemetery. He falls into the cemetery, and where he gives her his jacket before then because she's cold. And then when he runs into the cemetery, he finds her headstone, her tombstone, and his jacket's on it. And she died like 17 years before, I guess, in a car accident.
Yeah, it's a classic take on that hitchhiker Large Marge story.
Large Marge.
Yeah. But it's good. I think there's 6 total sort of stories in this 2-parter. There's a really goofy one that's like an alien thing. And this is also the first episode where we see who would become Carol's boyfriend for this final season, Dwight.
Oh, the kid who shows up in the jester
who is
outfit.
Just obnoxious. But this is a fun one. This is the second of 2 Halloween episodes from Growing Pains, and this one is probably the weaker one, but definitely.
You think so?
Because it's just so goofy.
Oh, shit.
But I think it's very ambitious. It's still good, but it's very ambitious.
For me, and I got to refresh myself on the first one because I don't think I've seen that in a while. But for me, because there's other stories in the episode, obviously, and you described them. It's the ghost story. Yeah. Which I felt was legitimately creepy.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's a creepy story, and it's especially because all the ones before it are super goofy. And I believe the hitchhiker is played by from Just the 10 of Us. It's
yes.
It's Cindy.
Yes.
Jesus, I'm totally blanking. That's really bad. But anyway, she was on Savannah and a bunch of other shows. But
just like still have a
Jamie Lunar. Jamie Lunar. That's it. Yeah. But who I've met.
Which was on yes. Can you just do this every time you say that?
Yeah, no, Joanne Willette, who was Connie on the show, as a friend, did an amazing one-woman show that we went to. It was actually me and Maria Ciampa, Lamont knows Maria, and Rachel, and we went to this black box theater and went and saw her show, and the show was me, my wife, Maria Ciampa, and then the whole rest of the audience was the cast and crew of Just the 10 of Us.
Nice. I can't brag about people that I've met.
You have Aaron
kids
Gray.
Around. No. Hold on a second. I was going to say, I can't brag about people I've met around Ken because he got a Trump card. I have to wait. I got to survey the scene and goes, is Ken? He's not here. Check it out.
Fair enough.
I was going to mention I had Weird Al on this show, but Jesus Christ, Ken's met everybody in Hollywood.
Well, I know Ken's had Weird Al, right?
I've had Weird Al on the show, yeah.
Yeah. No, but tell me who you had on your show the other day, Walter.
Ooh, yeah, well, yeah. Wait, it's a surprise. It's a surprise Halloween episode. It's kind of a surprise.
All right, so then don't say it. Say it when we're done.
Yeah, all right.
We're done. Yeah, so it won't be part of it.
It's cool. No, you know what? Fuck it. I'll say it. I'll give him a clue. Don't. It's fucking Robert Englund.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, just a little cute thing. So, but like, I was going to actually talk about that because one of my picks is Treehouse of Horror with Willie as Freddy. So.
Oh, yeah. All time.
Yeah.
All time. Great.
Yeah.
So, Walter, your second pick?
All right. I'm going to go my second because my number one's going to be Treehouse, I think. So, spoiler. Sorry. Second, though, is Scaredy Dick from Third Rock from the Sun.
Okay.
See? I'm whipping them out. You guys, you're the pros. You're the pros, but you haven't seen a couple of these.
And I haven't seen that one because I haven't. My brother keeps telling me I got to watch that show.
I
haven't seen the show.
Yeah, it's good, man. I love John, though. He's like one of my favorite people of all time. But Scaredy Dick, simple. It's not like a spooky one. It's just like Dick trying to overcome his alien anxiety of the doctor, which I can fucking relate to. So because he's supposed to go to it's Halloween, he's supposed to go get his checkup, and he goes and he waits in the waiting room and he fucking just leaves because he freaks out, he can't handle it. And like the whole thing is him trying to be, do the right thing and go to the doctor. And that's what he's afraid of. I relate to it. He has that little alien anxiety, and in the end it all works out just fine. French Stewart, of course, dressed to the nines, looking incredible as always.
What is he dressed as?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's French Stewart. Just look it up. I'm right. I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's one of my favorites.
Is it? I know, they're aliens and stuff. So it's like, is this an episode where they're trying to figure out what Halloween is?
Yeah. No. So yeah, kind of like. So the premise of Third Rock is right. They're alien family that have landed here, right? And everybody pretty much in the family kind of has their own. The kids get it way more easily than the adults do, and then And then John Lithgow, though, he's especially, he's a teacher and he does normal things, but sometimes he has a hard time. And this is one of those simple things which I relate to, because there's a lot of things I can do just fine. But then there's like shit that fucking stresses me the fuck out. I'm like, oh, so, I don't think it's because I'm an alien.
You're also an alien and also John Lithgow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good pick. That is a show that I have been recommended to have check out again, and I haven't, and
it's funny.
Really should.
Super funny.
My second to last pick here. This is a Halloween episode. It did air on October 26, 1985. This is an action show, 1 hour, ABC.
Hunter?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Hunter.
Jesus.
It is Hunter.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Hunter NBC?
No, it was ABC.
Hunter was NBC.
I believe it was ABC. Let me check. Let me see now. I have to look. Stephen K. J. Cannell. Hold on.
Yeah. It was NBC.
I was pretty sure it was ABC because it was on after Mr. Belvedere on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Hunter.
The TV series with Fred Dryer.
After Mr. Belvedere?
Yeah.
When was this?
Let me see. Hold on. Maybe I'm having a false memory. Hold on. Hunter. Damn you.
Mr.
Right.
Belvedere episode of Halloween.
Hunter is like definitely NBC. It's on Peacock now.
It's on. Yeah, I've watched it on Peacock. Where am I here? Television, 1984. American TV series. This is way slower than I normally am. Oh, you're right. No, it's NBC. You're correct.
Yeah.
I had a false memory. Lamont's right, everybody.
But here's the thing.
I have a round of applause.
If this is, listen, let me say this. Ken is a nostalgia genius, right? And I defer to him on most things. If this is Star Wars, and listen, I have the most confidence in myself that anyone can have in themselves, but I understand when I've been bested.
Right.
And if this is Star Wars, then I'm a Padawan in the nostalgia world to Ken's Jedi. That said, I know my shit.
Yeah. I shouldn't have questioned you.
I feel like I'm in the presence of kings, honestly. TV kings.
That's only because Lamont and I are sitting on thrones, and we just had a man beheaded in front of us.
You made sure I was sitting lower than both of you.
Yes,
You're like, get
yes.
lower, Walter. I'm fine.
But this is called Killer in a Halloween Mask. It's a pretty straightforward Halloween episode. There's a guy who's been horribly burned by acid, who used to play the lead in this cop TV series, but was fired from the show. He now has based out of a wax museum. He's murdering people. It's like a Phantom of the Opera kind of thing with Hunter and Dee Dee McCall, and it's just a fun, dumb, episode of 80s TV.
Fred Dryer had a hell of a football career.
He's a real unpleasant guy. Like, he's real.
Is he?
I don't know about in real life, but on the show, he certainly is. Like, he is not charming.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what his range is. Like, the only other TV I've seen him on was the times he was on Cheers.
Yeah.
Where he played like the other former jock, now sportscaster guy who was like Sam's
rival,
friend / rival when it comes to getting the ladies.
Right.
So they always got ladies, but then they always got rejected by the main ladies on the show. So it's like, what's real? But no, Dryer had a really long football career in the NFL. And then acting came. He seemed surly on that show, but I mean,
he's the
one
white
thing
OJ.
about Hunter, huh?
He's the white OJ.
Hunter?
Fred Dryer.
What do you know?
Without the murder. No, he had a great football career, then went into acting.
Oh, this might not be the right place to say this, but I feel like OJ was better better than him at both.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I
mean, definitely football.
Yeah.
In the acting thing, I mean, you know, because we're at the age where we can remember when like OJ was like
the Naked Gun,
beloved.
Yeah.
You know,
Hertz
the
ads.
sideline guy in NBC football. Like, hey, everybody, run through Hertz.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the Terminator story.
Oh yeah.
Right, they wanted to originally cast O.J. Simpson as the Terminator,
And then it was Lance
and
Hendrickson.
they said that the reason they went against it is because America would not buy O.J. as a murderer.
Yeah, and some of them still don't. But anyway, that's Killer in a Halloween Mask. Lamont, your second choice, because we'll go OJ all night.
Yeah. Okay, so this is my last choice, actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your last choice.
This is my final choice. This is the second of the two that I mentioned I saw for the first time this year. I saved it for last, for no real reason other than I knew the show existed when it came on. But once I saw the Halloween episode, which I found randomly on a YouTube playlist, I watched it. It was so good and so well done that it forced me to look at other episodes of the show. And then I was like, I was mad at everyone in my life for not telling me about this show. Like, my brother was like, I used to watch it all the time. I'm like, how come you didn't? It's the same way I felt when you, Ken, and my brother for years told me to watch Psych.
Yeah.
And I was always like, yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, no, whatever. But then when I finally watched it, I was like, oh my God. How the fuck? And I was mad at both of you for not forcing me to watch the show. You know, for not doing my eyes open, like, you know, is it safe? You know what I mean? Like, for not doing that to me. Marathon Man reference. Clueless.
Yeah. Oh, they have a very serious Halloween episode.
Scream, Murray, Scream.
Yep.
It was a two-parter. My third two-parter on this list. Where the beginning is Murray, played by Donald Faison, who's dating Cher, played by the wacky Stacey Dash. And not Cher. She's not Cher. She's Dee.
Yeah.
And Cher's, I don't know the actress's name who played Cher in the TV show.
It's a Canadian actress.
I can't remember.
She was actually on Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. By the way, she's very good.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, because I know the show, many of the actors and actresses from the movie just moved over to the TV show.
Yep.
With the exception of like Paul Rudd, Alicia Silverstone, and like I think a few others. But most everyone went. And the chemistry, she doesn't lose a step.
No, she's great.
And Cher doesn't lose a step. And their chemistry is so amazing. But Murray likes to prank everybody on Halloween. So in this Halloween, they're doing, you know, it's very vogue for the time, a Scream prank, and it's, you know, Murray and his best friend. I can't remember the other guy's name, but they do a Scream prank on them, and then Murray is also getting a Halloween party / haunted house thing ready, and they're all rich kids, so they have just unlimited expenses,
of course,
and they're it's a whole production of them trying to put together this Halloween party / haunted house thing. Everything's got to be authentic. Murray's being a dick because he's bossing everybody around. The main contractor on the job is this like very, you know, he did it looking kind of white guy. If it came to a suspect to be named, if something happened, he has this very like, yeah, I'm a mechanic, but I also kill people. And he doesn't like Murray because he's sick of these. He doesn't like rich kids, first of all, and he doesn't like Murray. And he's so sick of this. You can tell he wants to hurt everybody involved. And so as the episode goes on, people start getting murdered, right? And one of my favorite lines is Julie Brown, who's great in it, is one of the teachers. She helps out. She gets killed, and then Dee or Stacey Dash realizes that like she's the second or third murder in the episode. But she says, I just figured it out. killer is murdering all the semi-regulars. Like, so like, so it's like if you're on the show, but not really, you might bite it, and then the whole it goes to a part 2. It builds up to this huge crescendo where like Murray's best friend goes out, the old classic, if I go out by myself, I'm going to die. Then they see his supposedly dead body in the backyard. Well, they think he's waving at them at first, but they don't realize that he's probably dead. And then everyone gets killed. Murray's the last one alive. The killer turns out to be the best friend, because he was sick of being the sidekick. He was sick of being the one that no one liked, other than the fact that he hung out with Murray. And he was sick of living in the shadows, which we can all relate to.
I think so.
And then right at the moment he's gonna kill Murray, everyone yells "Gotcha!" And then they recap how he did everything and what happened. And the guy that they thought, the mechanic guy or whatever his name was, he turns up killed. Like, everyone involved with the episode is murdered in some way, or at least seemingly murdered. And then they figure it out that it was all a prank. But if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly. It for me was like, in terms of like, holy shit, was like what Newhart's episode was for me.
Yeah, it's a good show. It was actually show run by Tim O'Donnell, who I've had on the show, who actually ran Growing Pains and Just the 10 of Us and Uncle Buck and a few other shows. And he show ran Clueless, and he did a great job. It's a quality show. In some ways, it's better.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it and I was dumbfounded at how. I've seen the movie. Don't get me wrong, but Clueless is not one of those 90s movies that I've seen a million times and that I quote. I liked it, but it wasn't like I was like, yo, man, Clueless, let's talk about Clueless. It was fine, and I am, I don't want to say strangely, but I'm a very big fan of Donald Faison.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys where I was like, man, if I had a crew, Donald's in my crew.
Yeah,
like,
he's likable, seems funny, seems like a good dude. Yeah. Yeah.
He's actually got a podcast right now with Zach Braff.
Oh yeah, they talk about Scrubs, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've listened to a couple episodes.
They're actual friends, and you can tell. Your final pick, Walter.
All right. Okay. Here it is, everybody. First of all, I want to say this. Listening to both of you talk about these episodes is so impressive. You've got like an encyclopedic knowledge of not only when they came out, who made them, the name of them, but also you remember the whole fucking storyline. So if everybody at home's listening and they're like, all right, here comes fucking Walter, get ready. It's more my kind of thing that
let me before you go, Walter, let me just say, when I map these out, I honestly think that I sound like an idiot. So
you sell it, man. I want to watch all these. I'm writing down.
I thank you for saying that, because I think that I'm not making any sense.
No, it's great. It's compelling. Like I said, I'm going to fucking list right here all the shit I'm going to watch after this. All right, so I went with one, and this might be like a low-hanging fruit. It's my first time on the show, though, so here, forgive me. But a Treehouse of Horror. I'm going Treehouse of Horror, episode 6, I think. It's the first one. Whenever the fuck Willie shows up as fucking Freddy Krueger. Because for some reason, it hit me in a time of my life. Like, for me, there's one Halloween monster, or maybe just even one monster that rules cinema, my imagination, especially as a child. It was fucking Freddy Krueger. All day long, all night long. Nightmares nonstop about Freddy. Fucking was too young to watch the movies. Watched them anyway. Didn't give a shit. Like, it was just something magical, surreal, horror. He'd get you in your dreams. You couldn't run away from him. You couldn't, like Jason, cool. But you could, you put Jason on an iceberg and you fucking kick him out. He's not coming back.
Just don't go camping.
Take some time.
Right.
He'll be in 10 years, he'll come. He'll swim back. Whatever the fuck he does, he'll be back again eventually. Freddy Krueger, he's like, just fucking fall asleep, motherfucker. Just fucking fall asleep, which we all have to do.
Right.
So as a child, cracked my nut wide open. Love that. So as soon as fucking
funny that you say it that way.
Yeah. It cracked my nut.
Given the person you're talking about.
Absolutely. Anyway, so what it seemed like to me, and why the Treehouse stands up for like 2 reasons. I'm gonna get to both, I swear. One is, at that time I was having like dreams of Freddy Krueger all the time, and so it was starting to teach me how to like lucid dream and control my dreams and get over like nightmares. So I was doing this as a child, and then fucking Simpsons comes on, and all of a sudden the show that I would watch and be like, ha 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 ha, fucking Freddy Krueger's on it now. And I'm like, what the hell's happened to my reality? And it was all right. It was the thing I needed. Fast forward. This is where I get off track, and I apologize for being myself and weird. Fast forward years later, my very first tour with my band, the Army of Toys, we're playing with this band called the Tiger Lilies, one of my favorite bands of all time. We're playing in LA, sold out theater, Royce Hall. It was our very first tour. So this was like going from club show, holy fuck, there's 1,000 people now, and I'm playing with like my favorite band in the whole world. We do this great show, get off stage. Who the fuck's at the merch booth? Matt! It's Matt! Fucking Matt! Matt takes the whole band, including the Tiger Lilies, opens up a restaurant like you see in a fucking movie. I'm like, I've never seen this shit happen. We go to its club, like it's closed, they're not gonna let us in. He waves his fucking Simpson pad magic hands.
You mean Matt Groening?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Sorry, I got too excited.
He
Matt
calls
Groening.
him Matt.
They open up,
They're friends.
I just yelled Matt.
Yeah.
I yelled Matt like 10 times, but I got too excited. I'm sorry. Yes. Matt, the Simpson Matt. They open up the door. Open up a fucking restaurant that was closed. We sit around a round table. Matt's telling jokes. We're drinking like so many gin and tonics. I can't believe the luck. I can't believe it. And it's all because of Freddy Krueger and the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. There we go. Tied it all together.
That
Seamlessly.
A great story and a great one to end with. And my final one, this is an actual Halloween episode. And this did air Halloween, not actual Halloween, October 30th, 1976. So the night before Halloween, 1976. It's another 1 hour action show. Starsky and Hutch.
76? Starsky and Hutch again?
Starsky and Hutch again. This episode is called The Vampire. And it stars John Saxon. Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy's father, John Saxon as an actual vampire who is murdering women in L.A. And Starsky and Hutch go to kill him.
What are they gonna do to he's a real vampire?
Yes.
What is that leather jacket gonna do?
Yep. It's I won't say anything else. You should just watch it. Do a double feature of that and the Satan's Witches one. This is an underrated Halloween episode. I'd never heard anyone talk about it. You know, John Saxon is sort of horror movie royalty. There's allusions to Phantom of the Opera. There's some stuff in it that's almost like Argento's Suspiria, which came out a year later. There's some cool stuff in it. And I highly recommend that you watch this episode.
Starsky and Hutch, two spots on the list.
Yep.
I will say that the fact that the 1970s era action show had 2 Halloween episodes is enough to make me want to watch the whole series.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And they had some good Christmas ones. Yeah, it's great. So this is part 1 of our 3-parter. So if people want to continue hearing this conversation or a different conversation, same people, Walter's show, which I will put up links to on there, and then Lamont's show. So thank you guys so much for doing this. Happy Halloween to you. We got plenty of stuff to watch.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah.
I say Walter Snickerberg, Sickert, and I have a mush mouth. But anyway, that was Walter. Go to his show, link in the description. Go to Lamont's show, link in the description. You can hear the remainder of our conversation. Happy Halloween. Hope you have a good one. Who knows? I don't know, maybe next year will be one that will see people. But I don't know. Watch Dawn of the Dead and realize how accurate it is. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor. Wow, welcome to that. It's still every year it's stupid.